Welcome back, everyone, to IndyCar Series 2005. No, I have not forgotten about this game. Here are the point standings as we ran after the Kansas race. Scott Dixon still has the points lead over Tony Kanaan. We have moved up to third in the standings after quite a few good races. So, we're 48 points. That's about a race behind Dixon. So we're going to need a lot of good races here as we stretch into the stretch run of the IndyCar Series, and hope the Dixon does not. Hornish, Schechter, Castroneves, Brack, those guys, as we get further down the field, probably don't have a good shot of the championship, and then we get into the guys who are Indy only and or run very few races. So, we are about to take on the concrete Nashville Superspeedway. But rather than myself give you an introduction to this track, I'll hand that duty over to the one, the only, Bob Jenkins.
Welcome to Nashville Superspeedway, just outside the famed Music City in Tennessee, for the 9th race of the IndyCar Series season. Nashville's concrete track surface is unique in the series and provides significantly less grip than asphalt. The 1.33-mile concrete track also is rougher than asphalt. Combined with the fact that a driver will pull between 4.5 and 5 Gs in the corners, these factors make Nashville a very demanding track to drive. You're going to have to time your passing very carefully here at Nashville. The lack of grip means that the high groove in the mid-corners is a very tricky place to race and is usually a free ticket to take a closer look at the wall. Nashville's reputation as a tough track to drive is well earned. Take care here and remember that finishing a race and earning championship points are more important than going all out for victory and making a mistake. With the championship past the halfway mark, every race counts. Potential champions begin to emerge as those drivers who can put in consistent finishes. So focus on the race ahead and bring that race car home.
So here we are, ready to go qualifying at Nashville Superspeedway. You can see Brian Herta was on the pole for just a second. Now Elio Castroneves is up there. The qualifying going quite quickly here, as it looks like, well, Jill DeFerrin at 2:13.4 takes the pole position. Here's the rest of the folks who have shown up for this race, and let's see where we can put our Lids Dallara in the running order. So as usual, going to go all the way down on the fuel load, not going to touch the wings. I did some private testing, and you need a lot of downforce at this track. Because it's concrete, there's not a lot of mechanical grip, therefore you're kind of relying on the wings of the car to get it to turn. It's also not a very high banked track in terms of a 1.5 miler. Certainly Texas or Las Vegas or something like that, much higher banked. So that combination of lack of grip plus lack of banking equals a pretty challenging racetrack here. Of course, the modern Indy cars just recently tried to get a street circuit going in Nashville. Not sure if it's actually going to happen or not. At the moment, it's looking like it's not going to happen. And this track, while it's still up at the moment, might be on its last legs. We're going to have to wait and see the next couple of years whether or not it gets torn down or something, or sits vacant like Nazareth Speedway, or just kind of dormant like Texas World or something like that. But I guess, it's good that we have it in at least one game to play with. I think it's in one of the EA NASCAR games as well. And of course the first game of this series, IndyCar Series 2002. So here we go. As we should have shifted up there, 2:05, not an amazing lap. Let's see if we can get a little bit faster here. We're able to run flat out. Maybe I should have taken a little more wing out of it, but when you take wing out of it, a lot of times the car will just want to swap ends on you, and that's a no bueno. So let's see, as we come off of turn number 4, let's use up all the racetrack. I should have probably shifted up there. 2:04, I was worse.
Run puts you in 22nd.
22nd. That is not a good qualifying effort for us. We did out-qualify a few drivers, and we'll be starting alongside Buddy Lazier. So without any further ado, let's take a look at the starting grid. So the pole position will go to the points leader, Scott Dixon. His teammate, Thomas Scheckter, will start alongside him. Row 2, DeFerrin and Castroneves. Penske and Ganassi sweeping the first 2 rows. Tora Takagi alongside of Brian Herta with his best qualifying effort of the year. Dan Weldon and Alex Barron will roll off in row 4. Row 5, Kenny Brack and Roger Yasukawa on the outside. Row number 6 is Kanan, second place pointsman, and Ray Sharp and Mira in row 7. Row number 8, Al Unser Jr., and on the outside of him, AJ Foyt the 4th. Row number whatever, Fisher and Rice, not in that order. Buell and Hornish way back in the field. Then Buddy Lazier, our Lord and Savior, alongside of me in row number 11. Row 12 is Dario Franchitti and Ed Carpenter. And then bringing up the rear of the field is Mark Taylor in the second Panther Racing effort. And those Panther Racing cars don't seem to have qualified very well here, certainly. In fact, a lot of the Chevrolet-powered cars are back here, now that I look at it. Red Bull is powered by Chevy. PDM behind us with Ed Carpenter, powered by Chevy. Hornish just ahead of us, and Lazier alongside of us, powered by Chevy. So lots of Chevy-powered cars back here. As we get up to speed, there's the green. We can't pass before the start-finish line, so we can't get around Buddy just yet, but we do it. And we are racing at Nashville Superspeedway. Immediately alongside of Sam Hornish. We're going to be very careful here on the opening lap. Try to get a feel for the car before we really start making some moves. And up to 215 miles an hour, downshifting all the way down to 196. As we had to lift off in the corner. But thankfully the car seems fairly stable at the moment, so that's a good thing. I tried to get the setup to be stable so that the back end wouldn't be swapping ends on me, and that would be not very good. Of course, it may be sacrificing some speed. We'll just have to wait and see. I'm not going to use the fuel mix just yet. We're going to stick in mix number 4. Just save a little bit of fuel at the moment. Fuel saving is a big part of this, and kind of, positioning yourself for the end of the race. But here we go. We got one of the Dreyer and Reinbold cars just ahead of us, kind of slow. I think it's Sarah Fisher. Yes, it is, as you hear the spotter. As the car gets a little bit light in behind Fisher. Clean air is a big, big key here. Nashville's pretty much a 1.5 groove racetrack. So you really can't run side by side through the corners. You have to get your passing done on the entry and possibly exit of the corners. As we run a lane high there on the entry and get a little bit pinched off behind Hornish there underneath him. But he was held up by Foyt, who's starting to fall back through the field as we work down to the inside. And downshift. You can hear Foyt is holding tough on the outside. That is not what I want to be hanging with here. As Buddy Rice gets forced up just a little bit by Robbie Buell. As Buell starts to slice through the field, he started just ahead of us. Here we are at 202 miles an hour. As we hold the car next to the yellow line, just trying to keep underneath Buell. Nobody out to the outside of us, so that's good. We're all the way up to 17th. From our 22nd starting position, I was a little bit worried about Buell, what Buell was doing there, so we're going to fall in line again. I think we got a good run here, working down the main straightaway. I think we can make it to the inside, which we will be able to do. Yes! Whew. All right, so up to P16. We're carving our way through the field. Buell looked. I gave him a little bit of a chop there, made it a little bit dirty, not going to lie. Oh well. And we're just cruising in 6th gear here, not using hardly any revs down the front straightaway and still doing 202 miles an hour. That's good enough at the moment, even though Buell is looking. He's got that draft. I might go down a gear here and turn the fuel mix up, try to get away from Buell. In fact, that's what I'm going to try to do here. I'm going to go up in mix number 7 here. Oh, that was almost contact with Buell. I don't know if I made contact with him, but it was so close there. It's not what we want to be doing. So yeah, we definitely chopped Buell. I don't know if we actually made contact with him, but man, that was very, very close. And you heard Hornish is now the car directly behind, so that move on Buell probably not going to be well received. But as we use this higher fuel mix here, you can see the number 7 down there at the very bottom of the wheel. That's what I'm talking about. And there you see, our lap average went up 2 miles an hour, just getting some clean air, plus the full power of the engine. And we're catching up to Vitor Mira here, as he looks to the inside of Al Unser Jr. Now, once we can catch this pack, I think we'll be able to start using the slipstream.
You are 0.8 of a second ahead of Bull.
And get into a much better in front of Buell. Buell, that's how you pronounce that. The spotter doesn't have the best pronunciations, but yeah, once we get up into this pack here, we'll start being able to use the draft and slingshot, as we can already go down into our fuel save mix. Actually, not even really a fuel save mix, as we get a little bit of aero push from Al Unser Jr. cut in front of me there.
On your right side, outside,
And it took
outside,
the aerodynamics
outside,
off the wings
outside,
there.
Still there, still there.
And now in behind Mira,
outside,
trying to get underneath the Team Menard entry. Up a gear, down underneath Mira. Can we sneak? Oh, that's on the apron. It's not where I want to be. That was a poor choice by me. And that's going to allow Unser back through on the outside, at least for the moment. As we downshift. Oh, Al Jr. Oh, no.
Rear wing and your and your front wing and your cooling system's in bad shape.
There you go.
Damage, but we need you to pit now.
Wow. The car just jumped out on me. Dang it. Oh, that is not what I wanted to do. All right, fuel save is on. And we've got to hope there isn't a yellow.
Keep it under 60.
Oh, you just saw it right there. Just jumped out on me. Absolutely jumped out on me. Well, okay. So, we don't need 50 laps of fuel. We're going to have to think about this one. I don't know how many laps are actually left in the race. We're going to go kind of conservative here, 32. I'm going to take a little bit of front wing out, not too much. And then into the pits we go. For repairs. It's going to be a long stop. We've already lost 1 lap. We'll probably lose 2, possibly 3. Oh boy. So we're going to have to make this all back up on the track. If the car had turned over, we probably would have gotten a yellow, but unfortunately, no such luck. As we wait for this repair to be done. Man, that's just so unfortunate. That's the big deal right there is, I was talking about this in the opening. It's all about the aerodynamics at this track, whether you have the grip or don't have the grip. And clearly, we lost the front wing on the car, or the air on the front wing, and away it went. Because it gripped one spot, and it wasn't gripped on the other. So, we are in the middle of the race here, and in fact, I didn't put enough fuel in, I don't think. So we're on lap 14. Well, boy, I'm screwing this up quite mightily at the moment.
You are 3 laps off the lead lap.
So there you go. My prediction rang true. So I guess we'll just sit in mix 3 and just kind of hope they all pit. This is not what we needed for the point standings, I can tell you that. I'm not really sure how we can recover from this. We'll just have to wait and see, as the car is now starting to understeer a bit on fresh tires. So we'll go up on the bars here. You saw it go all the way to positive on the front bars, and that the weight jacker, I guess you could call it, to be Scott Goodyear there. And what the weight jacker does is add weight to the front or the rear to help you kind of turn into corners or get out of corners. And yeah, it looks like we're going to be 4 laps short on the fuel, so clearly I should have put way more fuel in it than I did. That's unfortunate. That is very unfortunate. Well, we'll just see what we can do here running in 5th gear. Fuel mix 3. Should be running pretty fast here, even by ourselves. Ooh, as I clip the wall there. You don't want to be doing that. We've got the leaders behind us, so that's not a good situation. That means we possibly go 4 laps behind the race. And the recovery drive is on, but I don't know if it's going to really matter. So 2:01 on that lap. Ay, ay, ay. Still looking behind. There's the leader, Dixon. And we're looking like we're 2 laps short on fuel, which is going to be a huge no-no coming to the end of the race. Guess I could turn the fuel mix down just a little bit more. Can I actually even get it? No, I can only get 28 laps out of it, which is 2 laps short on fuel, as we have 30 laps to go. But then again, I guess I'm laps behind. So I guess running an Uber fuel mix or fuel save mode will be okay.
Come into the pits on your next lap.
Well, that means the leaders are going to pit. We don't need to pit again. So if we can get up into traffic, hopefully once we come around here.
Pit next lap.
I'm not pitting. Not going to pit. There's 2 things that could help me here. If they crash coming into the pits and the yellow comes out, I'll be able to make up my laps under yellow. At least some of them. Especially as they'll be coming off of the racetrack. And they're no longer behind me as we get some understeer off the corner. There they are, all in the pits. So we'll make up 1 of our laps. So we go 2 laps down here. We'll see how many laps actually we're behind the race once we get around here. We need to... Alright, we're going to kick it up into high mix. I should have done that about a lap earlier. But I didn't have the foresight at the moment. Or at that time. So here we go. We should be making up lap 2 as I clip the wall. Don't want to be doing that. And we make up another lap. So going 1 lap down.
1 lap off the lead lap.
Alright, that's slightly manageable. Slightly manageable. Love if I could catch the back of the field. I don't suspect I will, but we're going to run really hard here and see what we can do. You're at 2:03. Don't see anybody coming out of the pits yet. Yeah, there are some cars coming out of the pits. So I'll just keep running hard here. And just start passing them as quick as I can. Well, this will be exciting, at least from a passing perspective. But obviously I can't keep running in Fuel Mix 7 without running out of gas, so we'll get it down here. We'll see if we can catch the back of this, of Ed Carpenter here, it looks like. Who's the car immediately ahead of me on track, but obviously he's a lap ahead of me in the actual scoring of the race.
That's the halfway point.
We're only halfway through the race, and we got only 20 laps of fuel left. So that's not good from that perspective. As we get in behind Eddie Carpenter here. Well, we got to kick the fuel mix. If we're going to miss it anyway, we got to make something happen here. So we're going to drive like a man possessed as I got into the wall once again there. Boy, I'm playing with fire going up there. We're working way too high in the groove. Way, way too high in the groove. I got to get the car cut in a little bit more than that. It's a little too much. Caught the apron. Car definitely understeering now quite a bit. Clearly I should not have gone the way I did with the wings either. So I completely blew that pit stop. But it looks like we'll catch Ed Carpenter here and unlap ourselves
Car
from
on your
him.
right side, outside, outside, outside. Still there. You are clear.
So that's a good thing. Now we'll start catching, I believe this is Mark Taylor up here. Running really close to the wall once again.
Seconds behind Carpenter.
Down a gear. Wow, I really wish I had done the fuel correctly. Otherwise, I think we'd be in much better shape than I had previously realized.
Your front
Oh
right
boy,
suspension
that's
and your oil system
trouble.
in bad shape. We can prepare some
Contact.
roads. Looks like you're out of the
And
race.
there you go. Crash. Out of the race. And since we're over halfway, by the rules of this Let's Play, we're out. That's a disappointment. And that is not going to be good for the points. Not at all. Only 29 laps completed. Oh, geez, Louise. And Dixon won, because of course he did. Oh, this is a tough track. We only gained 5 points. Oh, boy, howdy. All right, let's take a look at the replay here as we're going to watch this here. As we come up behind Carpenter to the outside of him. This is when we got the nice run to the inside of Ed at some point here. Obviously, we're 2 laps from our fatal mistake. And of course, we took Carpenter with us into the wall when we crashed. Let's take a look here. As we look to the outside, dove it down to the inside, and here we come underneath Ed Carpenter. So we unlapped ourselves from him, and we just cleared him getting into turn 3, working down the bottom of the track, and then up and behind Mark Taylor. And this is where things started to go a little bit awry, as I was really pushing hard to try to catch Mark Taylor. As we work down the back straightaway, we are about to end up in major calamity, as I just push out of the groove and get familiar with the wall, as Bob Jenkins said in the intro, spin down to the inside, collect Ed Carpenter, and up into the wall we go. 2-car accident, me out of the race, and that's how we finish it. So here are the points after Nashville. We are sitting now 103 points behind Scott Dixon. It's going to take a pretty big effort to try to unseat Dixon, as I think we've only got about 5 or 6 races to go. Not impossible, we're still mathematically in it, but again, it's going to take a Herculean effort to get to the top. So thank you guys for sticking with IndyCar Series 2005, even though I completely failed at driving at Nashville Superspeedway. Hope to see you in the next video, which will be next week. And I'm going to continue IndyCar Series 2005 each week until we finish it, and then we're going to move on back to Indy 500 Evolution once a week. At least that's a schedule I'm hoping to keep. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.